Welcome back, as always, to Totally Unbiased. I'm one of your hosts, Nick, and of course, the usual suspects, Aidan and Andrew, back with me again. What's going on, guys?
What's going
What's
on?
up?
All right, guys, so today is the episode of Who Wins, Who Loses, but before we start, you know how it goes. Andrew, give us those socials.
As usual, on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow us at Totally Unbiased. On Twitter, you can follow us at YT_unbiased. And in this video that you're watching right here on YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications, and make sure you like the video for all our daily content.
All right, so we're going to start and get off into the games. I hope you guys enjoyed our last episode of Fan Fight. We're going to do that every week, so make sure if you want to be on it, make sure you follow the directions in the description of that video. You can possibly be on Fan Fight. So let's jump into the games. We got a couple of the good games in the early slate. We're going to start off with a CBS matchup of the Indianapolis Colts going down to Tennessee to play the Titans. Both teams have had a disappointing start to the season. I want to know what you guys think. Today we're going to start with a little Aidan today to start.
Nick, I think I don't think this game's gonna be close. I think without Carson Wentz, the Titans are just gonna run all over the Colts. Wentz sprained both of his ankles this last week, and it's not looking like he's gonna play. They're probably gonna have to choose between Jacob Eason or one of their other backup QBs. So I think the Colts are gonna have a rough start, and I think this is a game where the Titans start to get their offense going.
No, I definitely believe that the Titans will get their offense going. Julio looked good in week 2. But I want to see how Tennessee's able to stop that run game. I definitely think that, yes, they're not going to have as great of a passing game with Carson Wentz, but the Colts can run the ball. So I still think Tennessee's going to end up winning this game, but I don't think it'll be a blowout like you're calling.
The only way I like this point spread is if Carson Wentz, in fact, doesn't play, and the point spread is 5 as of right now. If Carson Wentz doesn't play, it'll probably change. I kind of think the Colts have an opportunity here to catch the Titans snapping because the Titans have started off really slow in both games, and in one game they didn't even, speed up. I mean, the first game against the Cardinals, they didn't show up. I think this week, really, the Titans have an opportunity to seize control of this division because they got two teams not even trying, and then they have the Colts with the injured quarterback who are 0-2. And listen, the Colts did have a pretty difficult start. They had the Seahawks, and then they had the Rams. But you got to win. You got to beat who's on your schedule, and they didn't do that week 1 or 2. I'm looking at Tennessee to go 2-1 and the Colts to go 0-3, and it's really hard to come back from 0-3. And speaking of 0-3, we'll get into our next game. The 0-2 Atlanta Falcons travel to New York for the Eli Manning retirement ceremony to face the Giants.
Yeah, usually people just predict the Giants to lose every week, but there's a reason why Vegas made the Giants 3.5-point favorites this week. I think the Giants are going to really, really just destroy the Falcons. Falcons defense is one of the worst in the league. I would say they're a bottom 3 team as well. And, the Giants aren't so great themselves, but Daniel Jones has started to get it going on that side of the ball. I think their offense is just going to explode this game. And I think the Giants win by a few scores.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants also do have a tendency to play down to their opponent. They never really like to rise to the occasion. They're always when they're playing a bad team, they play bad. When they play a good team, they try and play good, but can't really keep that pace going. I think the Giants can win this game. I just don't think it's going to be anything spectacular. I definitely think they're going to improve from their first 2 weeks. Hopefully the coaching staff, it really has beat down on everybody for the way they played these first 2 weeks, and hopefully they kind of get some stuff in order. I'm going to say like a 17-14 matchup in the favor of the Giants. Not a lot going on scoring.
This game is super important. This will effectively end one of these 2 seasons, and frankly, the Falcons aren't going anywhere anyway, so the Giants lose this game, their season's pretty much over because they have a brutal schedule coming up. I do see the Falcons going to 0-3. I think the Giants are going to cover the spread. I think they will win by at least 4 points. I also believe that the Giants' defense will have a showing out in this game, and the offense will get going. This is a team, if the Giants want to be good, if they are good, they need to beat down on teams like this. Now, let's see it. Can you do it? The next game we got going is the Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Kansas City Chiefs for a divisional matchup. Little spoiler alert for this game. Neither of these teams are in first place. The Raiders are.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be the battle of the offenses. I don't think we're going to be seeing too many defensive highlights here. The Chargers are a very good team. I think they'll keep up with the Chiefs for most of the game, but Kansas City ultimately is going to come out with a win. I say like 35-28, something along those lines.
Yeah, that's basically the same idea that I got going on. I think after the way that the Chiefs ended their game last week, they really are just going to make sure they're ready on all fronts and they come out and play a good game. It will be a battle of the offenses, and I do think the Chiefs will come out with it.
Yeah, I think the Chargers win this game by at least 10 points. I think the Chiefs' defense is actually that bad. The Chargers' wide receivers are great. Mike Williams is finally playing to the draft stock that he was drafted at, and Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler has gotten going. He looked great last week. And it all depends on the Chargers' ability to limit the penalties. Last week was the penalties lost in the game. They have one of the most talented defenses in the league as well. And they always play the Chiefs really well. I mean, the Chiefs beat them last year, I believe, twice. Both games are super close, and they came down to last-minute drives. And over the last couple of years, the last time Rivers was on the Chargers, the Chiefs went 0-2 against the Chargers. They have their number a little bit. I think this defense is great on all sides of the ball. Their run defense is not good, but the Chiefs don't run the ball. So that's something to keep in mind. Derwin James looks great. He looks healthy. Chris Harris Jr., you have Nasir Adderley. This team is great. I mean, Asante Samuel, the defense is just stout. And I think they're going to win this game. I actually have this final score going as 28-14. I don't think the Chiefs are going to put up the performance you think they will. But we're going to jump into the next game. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers.
I think this game is all Steelers. The Bengals last week, Joe Burrow had a real slow start. His first 3 passes were all interceptions. And T. Higgins not practicing this week so far. So that offense is kind of down a few guys. I don't really think this game is going to be very close. I think the Steelers are going to win by a few scores. And I think it's all Steelers.
I'm going to go the exact opposite. I got Cincinnati in this game in a really close contested game. Joe Burrow has looked bad as the interceptions just really kind of killed them in their last week, but he definitely has a connection with Jamar Chase, regardless of the fact that T. Higgins isn't going to play this week. If that defense can keep them in that game, I definitely think that Cincinnati could come out with a win.
I think I agree with Andrew actually on this. I think Cincinnati has a chance to come out with a win. Part of it is health for the Steelers. Number one, Deontay Johnson's banged up knee. I'm not sure if he'll play. Ben is banged up chest. He should play, but it's a pectoral muscle issue or a chest issue. They haven't really specified. Not good for Big Ben. And if the Bengals can get a pass rush, they will win this game. I think the Steelers' defense is great. Don't get me wrong. But after last week, coming off of another injury for the Steelers, TJ Watt with a groin, which is really tricky. The groins are really tricky. I could see the Bengals winning this game. I really could. It all depends on how Joe Burrow plays. Last week was not good. He started off the game slow and then threw 3 straight interceptions on 3 straight passes, which I don't know if I've ever seen. And listen, that's not Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not an interception thrower. That was just something. No one may ever do that again, but we won't see a 3-pick game out of Joe Burrow again this year. That's not his game. I really just think it happened to be just bad circumstance last week. I think the Bengals will bounce back, and I actually have them squeaking out a win. It's not going to be a blowout win or anything. 2 to 3 point win. We're going to get into the Chicago Bears at the Cleveland Browns. Oof.
So I think this game is going to be very reliant on how Matt Nagy can scheme this offense around Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be getting his first start this week. Everybody knows the potential that he has on that side of the ball. He has a great arm, and they have very good receivers for him on this team too. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. He has great deep targets. It's just all about if Matt Nagy can actually give him the right plays to execute that offense correctly. And I think if they can do it, I think Justin Fields can come with the upset and beat the Browns. I really do. But I really don't think it's very likely that Nagy handles his first game correctly. So I think more likely than not, the Browns win the game, but there's a chance for the Bears.
Yeah, definitely. I think since it's Justin Fields' first start, I don't think Matt Nagy's going to let him just run through the playbook and air out the ball. I feel like this game is going to be a battle of the running backs this week. You're going to see Chubb and Montgomery kind of going head to head. I see them two being the focal point of each team on offense. But like you said, if Justin Fields can get the ball moving to his guys, they can sneak a win. So I'm going to give it to the Chicago Bears because I also think they're just going to have they're coming off a good week against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I have a real reluctance in picking a team that has their quarterback on a leash, and I think Justin Fields is on a leash. I don't think he's allowed to do the things they want him to do. I don't think he knows the playbook well enough, considering they don't let him do all these things. So realistically, for me, this is if the Browns are real. If this is if you are the Browns and this is we're good finally. You beat up on this kind of team. A rebuilding team with a rookie quarterback who's having his first NFL start, the Browns should beat up on this team, and that's what I think they're going to do. I have them as 8-point favorites in this one. And the last game I'm going to talk about, not really a great game, but it's the Baltimore Ravens at the Detroit Lions. I think the Ravens are coming off of an exhilarating win. I think what they do in this game is really important. I think they actually take the ball out of Lamar's hands a lot, the Ravens. I think he used up a lot of energy and he got hit a lot last week. I think they want to kind of preserve him against a bottom tier team, which is what the Lions are. And I think they could try to get that run game going or keep Lamar in the pocket just a little bit, kind of keep the reins on. They want to keep him healthy the entire season. Last week, listen, he played great ball, but he can't play that great ball for 17 games, running through people and things like that. So I definitely see him having a bit of an issue down the stretch if they keep pushing his body like that. That's why this game, I think they're going to give him a little rest.
Yeah, I mean, if they give him a little rest and they limit him, that's where I think it gets worrisome because without Lamar, I mean, he's such a dynamic player. If you're limiting him, I really think that creates issues for this team. And if that is the case, I'm going to give this game to the Detroit Lions. They are a bottom tier team, and the Ravens are coming off a fantastic week. But if you're not letting Lamar scramble out of the pocket, run the ball, if he's not this big multi-purposed guy who could do it all, because they really don't have a run game because they've lost so many running backs already this year, this is where I think Detroit would take a win.
I completely agree with Nick. I think that they put the ball into the hands of Tyson Williams, Devontae Freeman, and Latavius Murray, but I think they're going to come out with the win. The Lions have one of the most porous defenses in the league. I think they're 31st ranked for run stopping. So I think that Tyson Williams and Latavius Murray are going to see the majority of the touches this game, and I think the Ravens eke out the win in a close one. And for our next game, we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to New England to play the Patriots. Nick, what do you think of this one?
So I kind of got, it's just, I will never, ever bet against Bill Belichick, especially when he's at home versus a quarterback that gets easily confused and one that there was a lot of interceptions and turnovers. I think this game all depends on what the Saints want to do with their running back. Will they use Alvin Kamara? If the answer is yes and they use him correctly, they will win this game. I don't think they will. I think they continue to try to run the ball with him, and Jameis keeps trying to force the ball down the field. I don't know what he's doing. Last week was embarrassing, and I'm going to take the Patriots. I know the Patriots are 2.5 to 3.5 point favorites. I don't love that, but I could see the Saints winning, sure, but I definitely got Belichick confusing Winston a lot in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think, Nick, all those points you made are definitely very true. And
you said definitely 3 times in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, you definitely made some good points there. I believe that the Saints can squeeze out a win if they don't get confused, if Jameis doesn't get confused and he doesn't let Belichick play games with him. But most likely that is what he's going to do. Belichick is going to confuse him. Mac Jones last week, they definitely confused. Well, they didn't even really confuse him. Mac Jones just threw some bad balls too. But I think the Patriots just come out with an easy win because they play defense well.
Yeah, I think we all set our expectations very high for Jameis Winston and this offense after their performance week 1. Everybody got really excited when he threw for 5 touchdowns. It was a great performance, and he deserved all the credit. But I think the Saints aren't just going to immediately be one of these offenses that's a threat to the NFL. And I think especially against a team like New England, where you have Bill Belichick, who's a mastermind on both sides of the ball, I think that Jameis Winston is just going to be very confused, like Nick said. And I think that the Patriots, honestly, are going to be one of the tougher teams to keep up with this year in games because they play their offense very safe. They keep it slow, and they score touchdowns very consistently. So I think that the Patriots come out with the win, and I think it's a low-scoring affair. But for our next game, we have the Cardinals playing against Jacksonville. Nick, tell me what you think about this one.
Well, there's not much to be said. I mean, I think this game is a game that's going to get out of hand really quick. I think if you're doing like daily fantasy lineups, like online, like DraftKings, FanDuel, I would probably take James Conner because I feel like Cardinals are going to go up a lot and they're going to kind of run the ball late in this game. Believe it or not, don't expect the biggest day from Kyler Murray or DeAndre Hopkins because I kind of think this game's going to out of hand really quickly. And they're gonna run the ball out because this game's not gonna be close.
Yeah, no, I mean Nick's right. There really isn't much to say on this game. Jacksonville has not looked good on either side of the ball. Cardinals really haven't had a stellar defense. They're able to just outscore whoever they play, it seems so far. But I definitely think that by halftime, you're not even going to want to watch this game because Cardinals are going to be up by probably like 2-3 scores easy.
Well, Aidan's connection is a little wonky right now. Either he's messing with us or it's a little wonky, but I guess I'll keep going for him. Next game we got is the Washington football team at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo at home, Bills Mafia is a real thing. It is a real thing. And the fact of the matter is, Buffalo's a good team. They are. Josh Allen hasn't been able to put it together yet, but he will, and this might be the week. I don't think Washington's defense is as good as we all thought it was. That's my big takeaway for this game.
Yeah, I definitely think it is in Josh Allen's favor that he has a good team around him because he hasn't played the best football these first 2 weeks. So now if he starts coming into his own again, I definitely think that's going to be beneficial to him. And this Washington football team, this is really going to be the test to see if their defense is real in any sort of capacity, if they could hold the Bills. Obviously, the Bills are coming off a great 35-0 week against Miami, but I'm going to give this one to the Bills by at least a touchdown or two.
I can't wait till Aidan sees his frozen face. How funny that was. That was great. Aidan, we talked about the football team at the Bills. Give us your pick.
So for that game, I actually think it's going to be a blowout. Everybody's very high on Heineke right now, and it's justified. He put up a really good game against the Giants, and I think Buffalo is just going to, smack Washington right back into place. I think they do exactly what they did to Miami, and I think it's, a 35-14, 35-17 game. My bad. So for our next game, we have the Jets traveling to Denver to play the Broncos. Nick, what do you think of this one?
I have the Jets offense struggling once again. Zach Wilson's rookie growing pains will continue. I think this is another these at least one interception in this game. The Broncos defense is good. They're confusing. They got to Lawrence week 2. They forced turnovers. They got to Daniel Jones week 1 on a fumble. Broncos haven't really played anybody yet, so we don't know how good they are. They played listen, if you're the Broncos and you're in that division with the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers, right? This is the greatest start you can have. Giants, Jaguars, Jets, the 3 historically worst teams in the league since 2017. All 3 of them. So they're not good. The Jets are still not good. And matter of fact is, the Broncos might run all over them. I think the Broncos might start running the ball really, really well because they got a schedule that's starting to let up a little bit. And even though it started off really slow too, their run game is going to get really going in this one. I have at least a touchdown for Gordon and Javonte Williams each.
Yeah, I was going to say that next. I definitely think this game will get out of hand early, and you're going to see a lot of them just doing time management and running the ball with both of those guys. I really don't see how the Jets are going to compete. I mean, Zach Wilson looks like he's got a very bad interception bug, and I definitely think he throws another 3 this week. So I think it's easy to say that the Broncos are going to win this one.
I don't really want to give up on Zach Wilson just yet. I think that the Jets offense in week 2 just had a very, very bad affair. And I think that if their offensive line can actually keep it together this game, unlike week 2, that they could play an okay game and keep up for most of it. But either way, the Broncos win. And most likely the Jets offense is not going to be able to get it going. and the Broncos win by multiple scores. I would say 35-21.
All right, yeah. And then for one of our afternoon games, we got the Miami Dolphins going to Vegas to play the Raiders. Nick, what do you got?
So in this one, Derek Carr's a little beat up, but Tua's out. So I don't really think Miami's going to show up. I think they're going to try. Brian Flores does what Brian Flores does. He's going to put up a good game plan. He's going to scheme it really well. But of course, it's going to come down to whether their offense can move the ball. The answer for me, no. Even though the Raiders defense is that bad, unless they plan on running the ball 30 times this game, and getting 3 yards per carry, there's no way they win this game. The Raiders are red hot. They have a lot of confidence. I know Carr's a little banged up, but he should be okay. I don't love what's going on in Miami right now. It's really disappointing.
I actually think that if the Dolphins defense shows up and they can play a decent game, that this is going to be a really close one, because personally, I actually have a lot of faith in Jacoby Brissett to step into this role and not be fantastic, but do his job. And I think that it's going to be probably close for most of the game. And I think that the Dolphins actually can end up winning it. But the Raiders offense right now just seems like one of the strongest in the NFL. And for that reason, I have them winning in a very close affair.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett definitely has the potential to be just a game manager quarterback, just keep them within it, not have to do anything spectacular. But like Nick pointed out, Raiders are pretty hot right now. They've been playing well. Darren Waller's already having a great season. Henry Ruggs got moving a little bit more on offense in week 2. So I think it goes to the Raiders with no question. And then for our next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Minnesota Vikings. Nick, what do you got?
Do you like points? I like points. This game, points. Points. This one is going to be a high-scoring affair. And I think Minnesota finally wins one. Like, Minnesota should have won last week. They should have won week 1. They finally will win a game this week. They folded really badly late in these games. Last week, they should have won a missed field goal. That was just so hard to watch. You got to give credit to Seattle where it's due. Chris Carson hasn't really been efficient, though. Their running game has not been efficient. I think, they're scoring touchdowns, sure, but it's really been a big play offense. And if they don't have that big play, they're not scoring a whole lot. I mean, outside of one drive week 1 where they threw I think it was a 14-yard pass or 16-yard pass to DK Metcalf for a score, all their scores have been long scores. Tyler Lockett has 4 29-yard or more touchdowns. And, even a third-string receiver last week had a 72-yard touchdown. So, I think Seahawks need to find a medium where they can have big plays but be able to move the ball consistently through the run game, which they're not doing. So, realistically, I see the Minnesota Vikings finally taking one. They are at home. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook will get going again. They all cooked last week. So let's hope they can do it again, because this offense is really fun to watch. Kirk Cousins was good last week, but unfortunately he didn't get the outcome he desired. This week I think he does. This is great. This is actually really funny. Hi, Aidan.
Hi, Aidan. All right. Yeah, no, for this game, I definitely think it's a shootout on both sides. Like you said, the Seahawks can air that ball out like it's nobody's business. Tyler Lockett has been playing a fantastic first 2 weeks of football. DK Metcalf hopefully is going to get a little more involved. I think Dalvin Cook has a very great week. I'm calling about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns for Dalvin Cook. He's finally going to have a very explosive week against this team. I could definitely see that. And I also see, yeah, I know you like that. He's on your fantasy team. We get it. All right, relax. You'll be happy.
From Kamara,
well, Kamara might be a lost cause. And then also with Minnesota, I think Justin Jefferson definitely gets more involved. It looks like Adam Thielen has looked like the number 1 receiver more, but I definitely think Justin Jefferson kind of evens out the playing field for both of them, and they kind of get the same amount out of each other.
Yeah, I think this game, these two teams have something very similar, and it's the fact that both of their offenses are keeping them in these games until the very end. But I think the Seahawks and the Vikings have the 2 most fluent offenses in the league. And, I personally think this is just going to come down to which defense can step it up in the fourth quarter. And if I'm going to gamble on that, I'm going to say the Seahawks. And there's really not much good reasoning to it. I just think that the Seahawks defense has more good talent across the board. They just haven't been very consistent to start the season. So, I give it to the Seahawks in a really close one.
All right. And then this one is my game of the week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to start off with this one because I think this game is going to have numbers as on the level of the way the Chiefs played the Rams about 3-4 years ago, and it was like a 54-51 shootout. That's what I'm calling for this game. I mean, Matthew Stafford with the Rams, he is airing out that ball to Cooper Kupp. Hopefully they get Robert Woods more involved. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got all the guys that we've always talked about. You got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski has got 4 touchdowns within 2 weeks of football, and they could run the ball with Ronald Jones or Fournette. This game is going to be high scoring, and this one's going to go down to who has the ball last. And I'm going to give this might be a sleeper pick, but I'm going to give it to the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford pulls out his first big, great win in LA.
I'm going to say something. Okay, it's not a popular opinion. This game is low scoring. Now, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, and you're probably right. But I think this game will actually be low scoring, and there's a couple reasons. Number one, I also don't think this game will be close. I think there's for some reason this feeling that I have that this is the big dud game. One of these teams is going to have a huge, just, you know what I mean? Like there's gonna be they're just not gonna show up. I really want this game to be great, and I think it will, but I have this weird feeling one of these teams isn't going to show up. Tom Brady teams, they do this once in a while. They are on the road. The Rams are at home. I could see the Rams taking this game. I really could, but it also comes back to the health on the Rams offense. Stafford's hand good. He had a little bit of a nick last week. He hit his thumb. And then, is Henderson going to play? If Henderson doesn't play, they can't even respect the run game, and Tampa could just drop into coverage. Will this be a shootout? I want it to be. I have a feeling it won't be. If Antonio Brown's not there, the Buccaneers also will struggle a little bit on offense. I have this game staying under the under, and I think I'm going to go with the Rams at home only because they're at home. I think the Bucs have a higher chance of imploding. Rams got a lot of star power on that defense.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams, and I don't even think it's going to be close, to be honest. I know a lot of people are saying this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a really close affair. I think that the Rams defense is just going to humble Brady in that offense. I think they've had it easy to start the season. They've had this very good flow going. And, I think Aaron Donald and that pass rush, along with that amazing secondary in Los Angeles, I think they're just going to absolutely destroy the Buccaneers offense. And I think on the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp are just going to go off. I think that the offense is just going to be dominating the whole time. And I think that the Rams probably win something like 24-14.
All right, and then for our Sunday night game, you have the Green Bay Packers going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. And for this game, Aaron Rodgers is back. That whole team looked great going into week 2. Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had 4 touchdowns. It was a great game for them. I really think they're building off a lot of hype right now. They feel great after what they did. And for the 49ers, their running back situation is they pick up any guy off the street and they just put him in a uniform and they say, hey, go run the ball. Brandon Ayuk still hasn't showed up, so they're relying a lot on Deebo Samuel in the pass game. And I don't know how long Jimmy Garoppolo is going to stay consistent this year. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen anything really out of Trey Lance. So I'm going to give this one to the Packers.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers was getting a lot of unnecessary hate after week 1. And week 2, him and Devontae Adams just absolutely destroyed the Detroit defense. And they kind of showed why Rodgers was the MVP last season. And I think they're going to carry that momentum into week 3. The 49ers defense is not one of the better defenses in this league like we expect them to be right off the bat. So I think that the Packers are just going to absolutely go crazy against this defense. And I think they win something like 28-7. I don't even think the Niners offense is going to be able to get it going.
I think this one might be one of those classic Packer-Niner matchups, because in recent years we've had some great Packer-Niner matchups. The Kaepernick game with against Rodgers, and he had the rushing touchdown. There's a lot of great history between these two, recent history between these two teams. There's a couple things of note that I want to mention, and before I make my pick, the Green Bay defense is not good. It's not. Week 1 they were bad. Week 2 they were okay. They're not a good team, and they were okay against the Lions team, which the Lions should have had more there. They should have had more points, more yards. They kind of left a little bit out. They left some out there on the field that they just, they weren't able to convert. The Packers are having a real problem at quarterback corner number 2. Wow. Kevin King has been horrendous. He's let up over 100 yards in consecutive weeks. He's been horrible. But then you go to the 49ers, no running backs. Where's Brandon Ayuk? Can't find him. He's gone. No one knows where he is. George Kittle's been a ghost. I struggle to understand what is going on with this Niners offense, and I think Kittle continues to struggle. Although if there's any week Kittle shows you maybe he's okay, it could be this week. The Packers don't have the greatest linebacking core, but if they stick Darnell Savage on, stick him on Kittle, he's gonna have another tough game. Jimmy Garoppolo has been the best and most consistent player outside of Deebo Samuel on this roster, and that is unfortunate on offense. I'm going to take the Packers to win this game. I'm a little disappointed about the San Francisco offensive output so far this year. They beat up on the Lions, and then last week against the Eagles, they really didn't show up very much. But you know what? That's really what we got for this episode. That's who wins. That's who loses. But wait, there's a big game tonight. The game tonight is the Carolina Panthers facing the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are starting Davis Mills at quarterback. Yes, I know there's no surprise Deshaun Watson showing like we all hoped there'd be. There's no Deshaun Watson trade. He looks like he's out of the picture completely. I'm going to take the Panthers in this game. I have Christian McCaffrey having a pretty good game. I don't have him going crazy because I kind of think they give Chuba Hubbard some touches when this game gets out of reach. I do think it will get out of reach. Sam Darnold continues to work on his connection with DJ Moore. I think Robbie Anderson reaches the end zone, and that is my pick for this week.
Tyrod Taylor played for the Bills. They got Josh Allen after. Tyrod Taylor played for the Browns. They got Baker Mayfield after. Tyrod Taylor played for the Chargers. They got Justin Herbert after. Tyrod Taylor plays for Houston, and I'm going to go with definitely an odd pick. They're going to have a good game, and they're going to win. It's going to be a Houston ball game. They're going to keep this momentum going of this hype that they've had these first 2 weeks, playing some good football, a lot more than we thought they would. This guy's going to develop a connection pretty quickly with Brandon Cooks. I definitely think Christian McCaffrey, they're going to have a hard time stopping Christian McCaffrey, but I think somehow they're just going to pull out this win. I just got a feeling. I can't really explain it.
I have to disagree. I think everything about this game leans in the Panthers' favor. They've got the best running back in the NFL. They have Darnold, who's a much better quarterback than Davis Mills. And I just think the Panthers, this is just going to be a good game for them to just, practice everything, just get their team going, get a good win for their freaking schedule. And I think it's all Panthers. I think the Panthers win by 10 plus points, and I think Davis Mills struggles immensely against this team.
All right, guys, so that's it. That's all of our predictions. Thank you for watching Totally Unbiased, Who Wins, Who Loses, Episode 3. Check us out again next week. We're going to have, of course, the Fantasy we're going to have Fantasy Friday tomorrow. We're going to have the Big Blue review, the Giants review after the Giants game at some point. Once again, of course, Monday we have Totally Overreacting. Tuesday we have the fantasy side. Wednesday we have Fan Fight. If you want to be on Fan Fight, remember, check out the description of that video. We can get you in our show. And then Thursday, once again, you'll have Who Wins, Who Loses, and back through the cycle. Thank you guys for watching, and this is Totally Unbiased.